Hello everyone, this is Question Mark here with a pre-release kit from Innistrad Crimson Vow, the set that is in pre-release as of yesterday, as this is Saturday when I'm recording this. I have some pre-release goodies here, including the pre-release kit that I'm going to be opening on camera in this video, as well as the promo Castle Dracula that I am in love with. I do have an Edgar Markov vampire deck, so this is perfect for that. As well as 2 bonus prize packs that they gave with the pre-release kit. Also, just as a teaser for what will be coming later, I'm going to record a second video today with this. A collector's booster box of Crimson Vow. I am very excited about this set. There's a lot of cool stuff in here, especially for vampires. I love the stylish stuff. I love the Dracula stuff. I'm very excited, so I wanted to get the real fancy pants stuff, and I wanted to get it while there was a buy a box promo available. So I kind of had to strike while the iron was hot. But we will start with the pre-release kit. So I'm not actually making this into a sealed pool. So, won't be actually building a deck out of these today. But, I've done it before. There's just no in-store event at my local game store. But that's fine. Okay, so a little paper sleeve like we're used to from the last couple of years. I've got a white die, a white spin-down D20. Not much fond of the white ones because they just look kind of like basic dies. I wish I had the other colors more often. I keep getting white. Okay. Then because I'm otherwise going to... I can't ignore this. Oh, okay, I'll set that aside. That's my code. But this, Demonic Bargain with art by Sam Gay. Interesting. So, if you've seen my videos before, you know that I like to talk about these cards, and I don't know what a lot of them do, so I'm going to be reading a lot of them. So, 2 colors and a black, sorcery. Exile the top 13 cards of your library, then search your library for a card. Put that card into your hand, then shuffle. Okay, so I've heard people comparing this to Grim Tutor, which was in Standard recently and did kind of nothing. As a 3-mana tutor where the drawback was you'd pay 3 life. And whoa! I didn't do that. It came like that. You can see that, right? Yeah. Cool. Okay, well, my actual promo card, yeah, has just the tiniest amount of rolling going on there because of it. Then what's behind it? Oh, a day-night token, which is noticeably dinged. A blank card, a blank card, a blank card. Okay, so yeah, these got noticeably dinged. The promo just barely. Well, like I said, I did not do that. That was like that. Okay, well, Demonic Bargain. I was talking about it. Is it good or bad? I mean, kind of bad, I think. Although, I love the art. Oh, it is so pretty. I love the use of magenta here. And black. Love it. And the gold foil there in the corner. And yeah, Sam Gay. You may look at this and go, is he related to Rebecca Gay? And technically, no. Rebecca Gay, I believe, has a daughter who also paints, but she doesn't have the same last name. Sam Gay, my understanding is he discovered Rebecca Gay as he was growing up, and found her art, was inspired by Rebecca Gay's art because they share a last name, to kind of seek her out, and to become an artist himself. And he became kind of her understudy, or there was like a mentor kind of relationship there, where he kind of learned to paint from Rebecca. So, yeah, he's got a very similar, fairly similar style. and shares a last name, but not technically related. Oh, and we've got text going around the outside here. The bride pledges her heart to the groom, and he his undying affection to her. Blood and famine, violence and peace, in eternal life and through moments struggle. The two shall rule this land until its people are no more. The Heron's blood make it so. Okay, so the Heron's blood, that's usually an angel. And that's what we see up here, an angel all bound up. And supposedly they're going to be like drinking of her blood, and that is how they get married. I've seen the cards, though, and Sigarda, the host of Herons, she escapes. She doesn't die anyway. I don't know if they get some of her blood and stuff works out, but Sigarda, it escapes. So, that said, let's start opening some packs. So I'm going to start with the two bonus packs, which are noticeably loose feeling. And I believe that means, yeah, that means they are made in Japan. Versus the ones that were sealed inside there that are a little tighter and made in USA. So, that's a difference. Also, I believe the Japanese booster packs will have the rare in front, and the USA ones will have it in back. Personally, I like the rare in the back as a bit of suspense, but I think the rare in front is more for people who are just like, you know, they know that the only valuable card is the rare. Okay, well, in this case, I guess it's tokens in front. Tokens in front. And then a foil, Witch's Web. 2 mana, instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains reach until end of turn. Untap it. That could have some uses. Then we got a forest, and the edge foil pinstriping is back. So that's cool. Then we got the rare, by invitation only, which I think is a pretty good board wipe. 5 mana sorcery, choose a number between 0 and 13. Each player sacrifices that many creatures. So, obviously, okay, I play Commander primarily, and in Commander, there are a lot of options for board wipes, especially in white. So usually what I try to do is find the board wipe that synergizes the best with the rest of my deck, or gets me closest to a just one-sided board wipe. By invitation only can be a mostly one-sided board wipe. You just have to play a go-wide deck. If you're playing a go-wide deck and you've got like 8 creatures, and your opponents have 3, you play this, you say 3, your opponents all lose all of their creatures, you still have 5 left, you attack. That's great. So if you're playing a white go-wide deck, and there's a lot of those, by invitation only is a solid choice. And for 5 mana, that's about what you expect to see in a potentially one-sided or like a board wipe with upside. So, decent first rare. Also, I mentioned I have a vampire deck, so I'm looking for more vampires. But I try to be very picky about, they have to be very efficient. So I'm looking for low mana costs, and I'm looking for evasion. This doesn't have evasion, but when you attack with exactly 2 creatures, transform Alluring Suitor. It's a 3 mana 2/3. Okay. On the backside, it's Deadly Dancer. Okay, interesting art. Trampling 3/3. When this creature transforms into Deadly Dancer, add 2 red. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Red, Deadly Dancer, and another target creature get +1/+0 until end of turn. Yeah, that art. Let's see if we can get a zoom in on that. There we go. Yeah, alright. He's a disco dancer and a sweet romancer. Oh yeah, and he's got a bouquet of roses for somebody. May I have this dance? Okay. I attack with exactly 2 creatures. Yeah, I mean, this... No. I need my vampires to stand on their own 2 feet. To stand alone better. So I will not be using that. Also, if you don't mind, I think I'm going to move my camera apparatus here a little bit. In fact, I'm going to cut here real quick and then do that. And we're back. I should be able to edit that together. So, we have a 3-mana 3/2 zombie cleric. Whenever Archghoul of Thraben or another zombie you control dies, look at the top card of your library. If it's a zombie card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. If you don't put the card into your hand, you may put it into your graveyard. Okay, so it's like potentially card advantage or self-mill for a zombie or cleric deck. I can see that having uses. Boarded Window. This is actually kind of neat. 3-mana artifact. Creatures attacking you get -1/-0. And at the beginning of each end step, if you were dealt 4 or more damage this turn, exile Boarded Window. So I actually have a deck where I give out 1/1 tokens to my opponents and then make myself immune to the damage that they would deal with effects like this. So I'll consider it for that deck. Then Kindly Ancestor. So this is like your fairy godmother kind of thing. 3-mana, 2/3 creature spirit with lifelink and disturb. Oh yeah, so in Innistrad Midnight Hunt, there were a bunch of creatures that had disturb to turn into spirits. In this set, Crimson Vow, there are a bunch of spirits that have disturb to turn into enchantments. This one, enchanted creature, has lifelink. But that's it. And then, if this would die, you exile it. I like the flavor behind it. I like her little cloak there, but I wish that more of them would give +1/+1 or something. Even just +1/+1 in lifelink, and I would be very happy with this card. Without that, I don't think I'm going to play it in anything. Nature's Embrace. Oh yeah, okay, I heard about this one. A 3-mana aura that you can enchant a creature to make it a little bigger. You can enchant a land to make it tap for 2 mana. I don't know, might be good in Enchantress or something. I know that Enchantress plays a lot of enchant lands. Not sure which ones are the good ones, though. Perishblade Trainee, 2-mana 1/2 with training. When it dies, put its counters on target creature you control. Okay. So it doesn't refer to +1/+1 counters exclusively. So if it had charge counters or fate counter or something like that, any other kind of weird counters, then those would be moved to... Okay. I mean, seems like kind of draft chaff. But not that bad. Undying Malice, instant. Until end of turn, target creature gains. When this creature dies, return to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. I may need this. I play a Xantcha deck, and I do have a couple of cards that say, when she dies, return her to the battlefield. And I try to keep it to 1 mana if I can. The best one I've got is Undying Evil, where it literally gives it Undying, and so it returns with a +1/+1 counter. This one does the same thing, but it returns tapped. And I actually might prefer that, because one of the things that I don't like people doing with Xantcha is blocking with her. Because if I have to use Undying Malice on her, and she dies and comes back, then probably someone's going to have a couple of combats with her untapped where they can block with her. And blocking doesn't run the risk of dealing commander damage, which is part of what I'm trying to do. Trying to get my opponents to do commander damage for me. And to not chump block. And I do want them to continue to beat each other up. So actually, this card is excellent. I'm going to set this aside as a card I'm definitely going to be playing in my Xantcha deck. Or I might need to cut something for it. Well, of course you have to cut something for it, but you need to figure that out. Okay. 3-mana, 3/2 Trampling Vampire. When Belligerent Guest deals combat damage to a player, create a blood token. Blood tokens are going to be kind of a far cry for me in my vampire deck. Obviously, there are no synergies in the deck currently before the set comes out, and I don't want to sacrifice much for these blood tokens. So I want all my vampires to have evasion. Trample is similar, but not quite the same thing as evasion. 3-mana 3/2 is okay. Getting blood tokens is okay. I think this card does not make the cut, but it's not bad. Okay. Geist Beguiler. Wow. Okay, I don't like this card at all. 5 mana for a creature that has this ability. I don't care what this text says. This is bad. I wouldn't even play it in draft. We've got a Dreadlight Monstrosity, which is a crab horror, so I kind of don't need to read the rest of the card. There are decks you should play this in, because it's a crab horror. And look, it's got like a lighthouse on its back. This is a beautiful card. I should read the text. 6 mana, 5/5. Okay. Ward 2. That's fair. 5 mana, Dreadlight Monstrosity can't be blocked this turn. Activate only if you own a card in exile. Only if you own a card in exile. That is a weird clause. With no flavor text, I can't quite make sense of what that means, but good in Crab Tribal. Gift of Fang. So this card seems really good in draft and limited. In Commander, I don't think this has a place in Commander. Who's this artist? Dominic Mayer? Wow. Dominic reminded me of Seb over here. Or Therese Nielsen, actually, considering the like geometry going on in here. Something that I miss from her work is inclusion of kind of abstract geometry, pushing the visuals around. So yeah, I'm not familiar with Dominic Mayer. This might not be the first set that he's been in, but I feel like he might be relatively new, because I'm familiar with a lot of Magic artists. But I love this. Yeah, enchanted creature gets +2/+2 if it's a vampire, and -2/-2 if it's not. Good in draft. Not going to make the cut for my commander deck, just because I want my removal to be instant speed. Evolving Wilds. Okay, this is, like the 7th different art for Evolving Wilds. I do play Evolving Wilds in some of my commander decks, because it's useful. I play it in decks that care about landfall, or that have, like, all the fetches already, so it's just, like, fetch number 9 or something like that, along with, like, Crucible of Worlds, or, There are decks where Evolving Wilds is good, especially if you don't have green, but even if you do. Okay, so this is the other Japanese pack, so we start with the bonus cards in the front. So we got a blank. We've got a treasure, which is an eyeball inside a chest. That's cool. That's so weird. Oh, okay. I'm bouncing this a lot. Wow, that's weird. I love it, though. Oh, and I got another foil. Did I do something special with my first foil? Yeah. Okay. I will set that aside as well. Okay, so 2 packs, 2 foils so far. For normal packs, that is not likely. For draft packs, I mean. Okay, so 3 mana, 2/3 Menace, Daybound. Those are actually decent stats for the front side. Daybound creatures normally are a little underpowered. For the back side, it becomes a 4/3. Still has Menace. 4/3, wow. And just gets 2 more power. Yeah, I mean, if I was playing a werewolf deck in Limited, I would be very happy to have this. This seems like really, solid draft card. Island. Oh, yes. Okay, this is my first vampire border. And it's a rare Falconwrath Forebearer. 2 colorless and a black for a 3/1 with flying that can't block. Okay, so 3 mana is a little bit pushing it for my vampire deck, trying to be so mana efficient, but it has evasion and it has 3 power, which is good. So what else we got here? This is a contender so far. Whenever Falconwrath Forebearer deals combat damage to a player, create a blood token. That's pretty free. I'm okay with getting some blood in there if it's pretty free. And the last ability, black, sacrifice 2 blood tokens. Return Falconwrath Forebearer from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that's not bad. In fact, that's arguably good. Maybe better in standard, though. The awkward thing is with Edgar, the main thing I'm trying to do is cast vampire spells to get free vampire tokens. This brings her back, but doesn't have you cast her, so you don't re-trigger. Because One of the main drawbacks of playing a go wide deck is if someone board wipes, then you struggle because you only win once you've developed the board quite a bit. This will come back from the grave and allow you to develop your board with it, but it can't block. It won't make me another token. My go wide strategy is not going very wide when it's just Falconwrath Forebear. So far, this is the closest one to making the cut, and I love the alternate border on this. I'm a little iffy, though, because the card is arguably stronger by not having me pay to recast it. Sacrifice 2 blood tokens. Yeah, I don't know. I think this one will be made or broken by whether or not I find other excellent blood-making cards that clearly make the cut. If I find 2 or 3 other cards that are, like, obviously strong enough and make blood, then maybe this does make the cut. I don't know. Okay, Oak Shade Stalker, 3 mana, 3/3, Human Ranger Werewolf. You may cast this spell as though it had flash if you pay 2 more to cast it. Flip it, Nightbound 6/3. Yeah. Circle of Confinement. 2 mana enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls with mana value 3 or less until Circle of Confinement leaves the battlefield. Okay, so it's a small Journey to Nowhere. Whenever an opponent casts a vampire spell with the same name as the exiled card exiled with Circle of Confinement, you gain 2 life. Okay, specifically Vampire Tribal Hate. Yeah, I don't like it. Fell Stinger. This card is great. I'm not sure what I would play it in, but this card is really good. 3 mana, 3/2 Death Touch. You could stop, and this would be a pretty good card. Above curve, I'd say. It's a zombie scorpion, so it has the zombie tribe. It fits into one of these tribes. It has Exploit, which is useful. And when it exploits a creature, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Draw 2 cards on this whole package? This is an excellent, excellent card for zombies, for draft, even if you're not playing zombie tribal. If you're going like vampires, throw this in if you got it in your sealed or draft pool. Standard, this is probably going to be good in Standard. I'm going to try it out in Standard, non-arena or something. Weaver of Blossoms, 3 mana, 2/3, that taps for 1 mana of any color and flips. 1 mana of any color, flips to make 2 mana of any one color. Look, at 3 mana, I don't want to be playing more mana dorks at 3+ mana, and then they have to wait around while they lose Summoning Sickness, and then, they die to removal. I don't love it. Maybe it's a curve filler for, Vampire or Werewolf Tribal in Commander needed as much help as it could get, and it got a lot of help this year, so that might go in there. Moldgraph Millipede, 5 mana, 2/2, off to a bad start. It's an insect horror. When it enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards, then put a +1/+1 counter on Moldgraph Millipede for each creature card in your graveyard. Oh, not for each one milled this way, but each one total. Okay, this seems like a draft champion. Like, really good in Limited. This could be a huge, big old boinker. Boinker. Okay. Syncopate. Solid, workmanlike counterspell. It's been reprinted like 4 times. Hungry Ridgewolf. Okay, so this one's not a werewolf, but it is a wolf. And boy, does it have a ridge. Excuse me. 2 mana creature wolf. As long as you control another wolf or werewolf, it gets +1/+0 and has trample. Okay. Seems good in draft. In Limited. Supernatural Rescue, 4 mana, enchantment aura. This spell has flash as long as you control a spirit. Cool. When you cast this spell, tap up to 2 target creatures you don't control. Enchant creature you control. It gets +1/+2. That's a number of underwhelming things that this card does. It does like 3 underwhelming things. Okay. Pyre Spawn. We've got an elemental. 6 mana, 6/4. When it dies, you deal 3 damage to any target. It's okay. Alchemist Retrieval. 1 blue for an instant with cleave. Return target non-land permanent you control to its owner's hand. Okay. So if you pay the normal cost, you bounce something you control. If you pay the cleave cost for one more, you bounce an on-land permanent. Period. To anyone controls. This seems great in limited. Once again, great in limited. Pointed discussion. 3 mana, you draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, then create a blood. Okay, so this competes with Read the Bones for a slot in a commander deck. And Read the Bones is pretty clearly better, in that you get to scry 2, lose 2, then draw 2. And I think scry 2 is better than getting a blood token. Unless you've got a million blood token synergies, scry 2 is usually going to be better. So, probably won't play this card. Griff Rider, 3 mana, 2/1 flying, and training. Draft chaff, I'd say. Okay, so that's with the 2 Japanese draft booster packs. Now we're on to the 6 American ones. So far I've got 2 cards that I think I may actually play. Okay. Heron Blessed Geist, 5 mana, 3/3, off to a bad start, but it's got flying, and 5 mana for a 3/3 flyer with upside is good for limited. 4 mana, exile Heron Blessed Geist from your graveyard, create 2 white spirit creature tokens with flying, activate only if you control an enchantment, and only as a sorcery. Huh. Okay, well, you know, more draft stuff, I think. Kessick Flame Breather. 2 mana, 1/3 human shaman. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Kessick Flame Breather deals 1 damage to each opponent. This has some potential. I don't think I have a deck that this would be good in, but in a burn deck like Torbran, this seems like it could be very good. Especially in Commander, I love that it deals 1 damage to each opponent. And non-creature spell, that's actually a lot of spells. And, you know, sometimes you think of those as being like an instant or a sorcery. It counts planeswalkers, artifacts, enchantments. So I think that's pretty good. For Torbran specifically, and maybe not much else, I don't know. Steelclad Spirit. A colorless and a blue for a creature spirit 3/3 with Defender. Okay, so it's big, but can't attack. I mean, a little big. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, Steelclad Spirit can attack as though it didn't have Defender. This turn as if it didn't have Defender. Okay. Missed that a little bit. Don't like it. It's not big enough to be scary in anything except for a limited situation. Nurturing Presence. Colorless and a white for enchantment aura. Enchant creature. It seems out of focus here. There. Okay. Come on. Boop. There we go. Enchanted creature has, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Not a counter, just a temporary buff. Okay. When Nurturing Presence enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Well, that's nice, I guess. But I don't know that I have any use for it. Oh yeah, this was my favorite art from the set in terms of, like, this is my nomination for the creepiest art in the set. If we're talking about horror, if we're talking about scares, this art freaky as hell to me. And who did it? Alex Brock. Very good job. It's a 2 mana 2/2 zombie with exploit. When it exploits a creature, each opponent exiles a card from their hand. Oof. That actually seems pretty good. Oh, I got a peek at the end of the pack. There's something good coming up for me. Nature's Embrace. Yeah, we've seen it. Chill of the Grave. 2 mana instant. This spell costs 1 colorless less to cast if you control a zombie. Okay. Tap target creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Cool. I love those effects in limited. Draw a card. Yeah, this seems excellent. If you are drafting the zombie deck, or even if you aren't, if you're playing sealed and you got like 2 zombies or something, trust me, these effects are good. Sanctified. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You gain 3 life, sorcery speed. Don't like it. Lantern Bearer. If you're looking for more flying men, boy, is this a flying man. Flying Men is 1 blue for a 1/1 with flying, and no other relevant abilities. This one has is a spirit that has Disturb, so it can turn into Lantern's Lift. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has flying. See, this one gives +1/+1. The other one didn't. And this Disturbs for 3. That's not too bad. But yeah, it gives +1/+1 and flying. And I've heard people considering this for Yuriko. Because in Yuriko you want to have the 1 mana evasive creature that can do the attacking, and then later you want to have something that can give the ninjas a persistent evasion ability, and this does both of those things. Still, I think I have solved that problem pretty well for my Yuriko deck so far, but I will consider it. Blood Hypnotist. We've got a vampire. 3 mana, 3/3, it can't block. Oof. Whenever you sacrifice 1 or more blood tokens, a target creature can't block this turn. This ability triggers only once each turn. Hate it. Sorry, I hate it. Archghoul of Thraben, we've talked about him. He's not bad. Pretty good even. Restless Bloodseeker. Okay, we got a 2 mana, 1/3. I think 2 mana vampires are kind of my sweet spot for my Commander Vampire deck, but at the beginning of your end step, if you gained life this turn, create a blood token. Sacrifice 2 blood tokens, transform Restless Bloodseeker. Activate only as a 3/3 sorcery. It so looks like activate only as a 3/3. So I don't like that it doesn't have evasion, and it doesn't have any way to gain life on its own. So I'm probably not going to play this, but let's see. The other side is Blood-Soaked Reveller. Oh, that art. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, that's reveling, all right. He still doesn't have evasion or lifelink, but at the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, you create a blood token, and for 5 mana, each opponent loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. Yeah, I mean, he's hype, but I'm not going to play him. Voice of the Blessed. So this is our Ajani's Pridemate for Standard. It's the best ever Ajani's Pridemate. It's really good. 2 mana, 2/2, like Ajani's Pridemate, although it is 2 white and not a colorless and white. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on Voice of the Blessed, just like Ajani's Pridemate. As long as Voice of the Blessed has 4 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it has Flying and Vigilance, which is sick. That would have been enough, but no. As long as Voice of the Blessed has 10 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it has Indestructible. Now, what are the odds that this thing is going to get 10 counters on it? Pretty bad. But if you do, it does seal the deal. If someone lets this thing get up to, being, having 10 counters on it, the game is over, if it wasn't already. Because now the removal probably doesn't work. But yeah, this card is excellent. Ooh. Okay, we got a Plains. I like it. And I've had so much trouble pronouncing this. Anji, Maid of Honor? I've heard no consensus. I am happy that I got a foil of her. She looks like, who was Hela in Thor Ragnarok? The name Catherine is coming to mind for some reason. Shoot. Okay, normally I'm pretty good with celebrity names, but okay. 4 mana, 4/5, so above curve stats right off the bat. Whenever she and or 1 or more other vampires enter the battlefield under your control, create a blood token. This ability triggers only once each turn. 2 mana, sacrifice another creature or a blood token. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Anji may make the cut in my vampire deck. 4 is going to be a little above curve for what I'm going for, but she is quite big. She doesn't have evasion, but she makes a blood when she enters or when other vampires enter, and she's a sack outlet for life drain. And the blood tokens, she makes them pretty easily. She's a strong contender, especially since I opened a foil. I am a little more likely to play a card in a deck if it's questionable, if I happen to get a foil or a promo or something. I'll lean into it. I like the bling. I like showing it off. Got cut on the corner. Oh no. There we go. Okay. Let me take a drink here. Okay. And also, I'm not really discussing these packs or any of these cards in terms of monetary value. I don't know how much any of these cards are worth. It is the pre-release. Nobody knows how much these cards are worth. Anyone who tries to tell you they know how much these cards are worth, it's so unstable right now. It will change. It will change a lot, and it will change soon. Prices tend to stabilize a couple weeks after release, but is Angie worth something then? Maybe. I hope so. Falcon Wrath Forebearer, I'm a little skeptical. Maybe, though. I don't know. These other foils I got? Definitely not. They're commons. But hey, we got the alternate art style of Falcon Wrath Celebrants. 5 mana 4/4 with Menace. When this enters the battlefield, create 2 blood tokens. Once again, in Limited and Draft, that's great. And the art. There are so many people I feel like I could get into Magic the Gathering with the art from this set. It is gorgeous. I think it's especially, female appealing, whereas a lot of, Magic sets have art that I would say, isn't as appealing to women. These cards are sexy, but not like, not super male gazy, I feel. Like, okay, this art is by Zinna Du. Is Zinna a woman? I wouldn't be surprised if she is. So actually, a lot more of the eye candy in these vampires is the men. So for those straight women out there, there's a lot of pretty men in this set. And for the gay women, there's a lot of pretty women who are wearing elaborate, fancy as hell clothes. They're their absolute finest. This is a very luxuriant set. I like looking at it, except this zombie guy. Don't like looking at him. 4 mana, 3/3 zombie with exploit. When it exploits a creature, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so it's like an Archaeomancer, but you have to sacrifice a creature. Archaeomancer is really good. Sacrificing a creature to do it, I think, actually does make it worse. Some decks, sacrificing a creature actually makes it better, but I don't think this does. Okay, yeah, okay, so we've got kind of a meme here. 5 mana for 1/13. And yeah, I think the number 13 is a meme on Innistrad. It enters the battlefield tapped, but honestly, this seems fair. And good in Doran the Siege Tower. Yeah. Play that in Doran. I don't have a Doran deck, so I'm not playing it. Mulch, that's just a staple. It's a pretty good card. I'm already going to be talking a long time about these. Don't want to waste too much more time with reprints. Vampire's Kiss, 2 mana sorcery. Target player loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. Create 2 blood tokens. Might be good and limited. I don't know. It's not card advantage. Lifesteal isn't super important. Blood tokens are okay, probably. Syncopate's just solid. Blood Crazed Socialite. 4 mana, 3/3 with Menace. When it enters the battlefield, create a blood. When it attacks, you may sacrifice a blood token. If you do, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Seems not bad, actually. I don't think it makes the cut on my vampire deck. 4 mana is just, like I said, pushing it too much. Anji at least has like an enter the battlefield ability and is a 4/5 all the time and has a sack outlet and can make blood repeatedly. So, Hook Hand Mariner, 4 mana, 4/4. It's interesting that they made a Mariner a green card. Mariner, Marine, a sailor, a fisherman. Here he's a Rip Hook Raider, 6/4. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. They weren't entirely... Oh, what? Oh. The local gossip swore Nesmith lost his hands in a fight with a werewolf. Both hands? Oh, poor guy. They weren't entirely wrong. Yeah. Okay, so the front side. Yeah, poor guy got no hands. Yep, it's all hooks. All hooks for poor Nesmith. That name Nesmith. I feel like that's a reference to something, but I don't quite get it. Whispering Wizard. 4 mana, 3/2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. This ability triggers only once each turn. This card seems excellent. I was just brainstorming a deck where I really wanted to make a blue deck, where I really wanted to make like 1/1 tokens, and there weren't that many good options. This seems like a good option. Markov Waltzer. Okay, so 4 mana in 2 different colors for a vampire. That's pushing it. But I love flying in haste. 1/3 is kind of small, so what else do you do? At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 2 target creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. I'll lead. Once again, these handsome mans. I think it doesn't make the cut. It's tempting a little bit, but no. No. Another fancy border. Bloodsworn Squire. 4 mana for a 3/3 vampire soldier. For 2 mana and discard a card. Gains indestructible until end of turn, but you have to tap it. Then if there are 4 or more creature cards in your graveyard, transform it. Oh? Bloodsworn Knight. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. For 2 mana and discard a card, it gains indestructible until end of turn and tap it. So it goes from being a vampire soldier to a vampire knight. And it goes from being a 3/3 to being, 4 more creature cards in your graveyard. At least a 4/4. Still, I don't think it has a place in my vampire deck. But also, I'm glad that I'm opening the draft packs first. I'm doing that chronologically earlier because this border is cool to me while I'm seeing it here. When I start digging into the collector's boosters, I got a feeling this is going to be like nothing. I'm going to see lots of these. I'm going to see lots of foils. It's going to get a little boring. So, start with these while it's still fresh. And Path of Peril. Oh, right. The Cleave Wrath of God. I tell you, a lot of Cleave cards feel really underwhelming to me. Because, 3 mana to destroy all creatures with a mana value of 2 or less doesn't seem that strong. It's like Pyroclasm in black, so it's a little bit more than Pyroclasm. And then Cleave, you got to pay 6 mana of 2 different colors to do a bad Wrath of God. So it's like an overcosted spell stable to another overcosted spell. It's just not exciting to me. Although, the versatility means it's probably actually good, but I still don't like it. Then we got a Swamp, Day-Night card, and that thing. Are we getting a Day-Night card in literally every pack? I think we didn't get it in one of them. I think. Okay. Because, you do want everyone to know what Day-Night does. Every pack? I don't know. Okay. Reckless Impulse. This card is genuinely good and might be worth playing in some commander decks. 2 mana sorcery, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. So this is 2 mana sorcery, draw 2 cards in red. If you're playing red-black, red-white, even red-green, where you might struggle to, just easily draw extra cards, where you care about playing extra sorceries for prowess triggers or, whatever. Normally, I struggle a little bit with the impulsive draws where you can kind of exile a card and then cast it this turn. But what I love is until the end of your next turn, you may play them. This gives you plenty of time. If you reveal 2 lands, you got it. You can still do it. So I love this card. I'm not sure if it is going to make the cut in any of my commander decks, but it might. And I think that any red deck in Standard probably should be playing it. Scattered Thoughts. 4 mana instant. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put 2 of these cards into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this also seems pretty good for Standard. I think if someone were building a self-mill style blue deck. I think that this is playable in Commander. If you're trying to mill yourself, heck yeah. It's draw 2 cards and mill 2 cards at instant speed for 4 mana. That's great. Adamant Will is a good combat trick, but combat tricks don't really see play in Commander. I really want to build a combat trick deck in Commander. I'm just not sure how to do it. 2 mana, 2/1. The vampire has first strike as long as it's attacking. When it dies, make a blood. What is this art? Ew. Who did this? Sammy McConan? Not necessarily a fan of your art on this one, buddy. It's a little gross. Oh well. I don't like my vampires gross. I like them to be more elegant. Oh, this is the big pig. Sure, there's a human peasant, but it comes with a big pig. 4 mana, 1/1 training. When it enters the battlefield, create a 3/1 green boar creature token. That seems alright. Persistent Specimen. Professor actually talked about this one in his Pauper video from this week. And card's alright, although I usually prefer Reassembling Skeleton in any deck where this kind of effect would be good. Massive Might. I love that it's just 1 mana and it gives +2/+2 and trample at instant speed. The whole package is very good for 1 green. Once again, you don't really play combat tricks in Commander. This is a pretty good combat trick, though. If you could find a deck where a 1 mana instant combat trick would be useful, this is a really good one. Sanctified, we've seen it. Daybreak Combatants. 3 mana, 2/2 haste, human warrior. When it enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Boring. Don't like it. Weary Prisoner. Okay. That art has a totally different vibe to it. Oh, I like the teeth marks on the bars. Oh, because it is a werewolf. 4 mana, 2/6 defender in the day. And in the night, Wrathful Jailbreaker. Oh, yeah, okay, he got out. He attacks each turn if able, and he's a 6/6. Okay. Seems good in the werewolf deck. Blood Tithe Harvester. Okay, off to a great start. 2 mana for a 3/2. That's what I'm looking for. What else you got for me? When it enters the battlefield, create a blood. Solid. Tap, sacrifice Blood Tithe Harvester. Uh-oh. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is twice the number of blood tokens you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Gosh. I don't think this makes the cut, but I am going to set aside and consider it. Fell Stinger. Great card. Gutter Skulker. Creepy art. Love it. 4 mana, 3/3. Gutter Skulker can't be blocked as long as it's attacking alone. And Disturb for 4? Really? Enchanted creature can't be blocked as long as it's attacking alone. See, why do some of them give, like, plus power and toughness, and this one doesn't? It's 4 mana for a very limited invisibility effect, when invisibility is normally, like, 2 mana, and this doesn't do much else. I do like, generally, broadly, that Disturb cards can be milled and then played out of the graveyard, but I would love to see this for, like, 1 mana less, or give, like, +1/+1 or something. As is, don't like it. And the rare is Halana and Alina. They are partners, officially. Not generally, but with specifically each other. Love that representation. 4 mana, 2/3, first strike reach. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control, where X is Halana and Alina's power. That creature gains haste until end of turn. Is this the deck where you want combat tricks? Where you want to be, like, plussing Halana in order to get more counters and then swing with both? It does say on another target creature you control. So it is a little weird that Halana and Alina only really do something useful by benefiting someone else, a third party. Is there a triad going on here? Are they in an open relationship? I don't know. They put counters on somebody else, though, and that somebody else gains haste. So, if it didn't say another target creature, this card would be excellent. Incredible. Because it could give itself haste. It gives other creatures haste, which feels a little bit like a slightly toned down Xenagos, It's still pretty good, though. And I think that if someone were into the flavor of the Ranger lesbian couple, excellent. More power to you. This could be a great deck. You'll have fun playing it. Swamp. Blood. I don't know what to call these. Blank cards. There's a term for them. They used to be checklist cards, but they're literally not a checklist anymore, so... But they're also not totally blank. I've gotten totally blank cards before, and this is not that. Like fill in the blank cards, but I want it to be like one word. 2 mana for a Vampire Slayer. Okay, they're finally using Vampire Slayer. A very basic name for a 2/2. When it deals damage to a vampire, destroy that creature. Okay, sure. Don't like it, though. Blood Petal Celebrant. Oh, it's the Flower Girl. It's the Flower Girl. She has first strike as long as she's attacking. She's a 2/1 for 2. And when she dies, you create a blood. Wait. Oh! It's the Flower Girl. I prefer the normal art on this one. This is, like I said, it's gross. Her face is all messed up. Can you see? Yeah. No, I don't like it. Sorry. To Sammy McConan there. Okay. Oh. Wretched Thong, huh? No, Wretched Throng. 2 mana, 2/1. When Wretched Throng dies, you may search your library for a card named Wretched Throng, reveal and put it in your hand. Wow. Oh. Ugh. Okay. Moving on. Wolf Strike. Okay. 3 mana instant. Target creature you control gets +2/+7 until end of turn. Then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Hey, Halana and Alina should like that. Seems okay. I love that it's a one-sided fight, too. That's very strong. Aim for the Head. This is probably really good in Limited. Because honestly, Mind Rot used to be good in Limited, and this is Mind Rot, but better. Because it exiles, and in this set, sometimes cards going to your opponent's graveyard is actually good for them. And you can exile a zombie as a alternate effect. I have drafted 5 Mind Rots in draft before, and got first place. So yeah, if you can get 3 of these in a draft deck, trust me, just wait until your opponent has 2 cards in hand, and then do this to them. And then you pretty much won that game. Trust me. Toxic Scorpion, 2 mana, 1/1. It's a creature scorpion. Oh, right, it wouldn't be an insect. Scorpions are technically not insects, because insects have 6 legs, and scorpions, I believe, have 10? Yeah, they have or they have 8. I don't know. They have more than 6. When Toxic Scorpion enters the battlefield, another target creature you control gains Death Touch until end of turn. You want that venom? Collect it yourself. I'm not losing another pair of Dragonhide gloves. Old Rustine. Seems okay. Wedding Invitation. Okay, this is an interesting one. Okay. 2 mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Tap, sacrifice Wedding Invitation. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. If it's a vampire, also gains lifelink until end of turn. RSVP at your own risk. So, here's what's interesting about it. Do I play it in my vampires deck? It's not a vampire, of course, but it helps vampires. It's an artifact which makes it easy to cast, and 2 mana is pretty cheap. It draws a card, which is something that the vampire deck wants to do. It can make a vampire unblockable, and attacking is all I want to do with my vampires, and it gives one of them lifelink until end of turn. And the deck actually doesn't have as much life gain as I would like. Considering how aggressive the deck is and how threatening it is, I could use a little bit more of a life buffer. So this draws a card to replace itself, makes one of my vampires unblockable, and gains me some life. This genuinely might be worth playing in my commander deck, even though a 2 mana artifact that draws a card and then sacks to do a little thing is normally way off the radar for commander, I think, unless your deck is artifact, sack it, bring it back, artifact, sack it, bring, some kind of synergies like that. I may genuinely play this in my vampire deck, but honestly, I could play 150 cards in my vampire deck right now. It's just, there's so many things vying for spots. Ooh, I see a foil at the back. Yeah, Fire Spawn we talked about. Weaver of Blossoms we talked about. Reclusive Taxidermist. It's a human druid. 2 mana, 1/2. It gets +3/+2 as long as there are 4 more creature cards in your graveyard, and it taps for 1 mana of any color. Okay, I think there are decks where this could be good. Self-mill green decks, some human-style deck. A 2 mana creature that taps for 1 mana of any color seems okay. I don't know. Witness the Future. I've heard some people are kind of into this one because 3 mana sorcery, target player shuffles up to 4 cards from their graveyard into their library. You look at the top 4 cards of your library, then put one of those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I guess the deal is that it doesn't exile itself, so you can do it like over and over again. You can like work through your whole deck with 4 copies of Witness in the Future, and it just never ends. That's not my style. Voltaic Visionary. Are those Chandra's goggles? We got another Chandra wannabe here. 2 mana, 3/1. Tap Voltaic Visionary deals 2 damage to you. Okay. Exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn, activate only as a sorcery. When you play a card exiled with Voltaic Visionary, transform Voltaic Visionary. Oh? Volt Charged Berserker. Volt Charged Berserker can't block and is a 4/3. Well, I hate it. Nope. Dream Shackle Geist. 3 mana, 3/1 flyer. This is the rare. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose 1. Tap target creature, or choose up to 1. Or target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. This seems pretty good. A 3/1? Seems really good, actually. I like it. Forest, okay. Foiled Dawnheart Disciple. 2 mana, 2/2. Whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, Dawnheart Disciple gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Okay, so it's a bear with upside, but I don't like it. Ooh, and then we got I like this human token. Look at her. All right. Part of the rabble. She's going to get you with that pitchfork. I'm a big Witcher fan. And, for any of those of you who have read the novels, you may know where I'm going with this. If you haven't, minor spoiler just because, it's kind of a fake out on whether or not Geralt dies at the end of one of these books, where he gets, jumped by a whole town worth of people with, pitchforks and stuff, and he gets kind of overwhelmed by the rabble, and he gets stabbed with the pitchfork. But then, most people are probably most familiar with Witcher from the games, and Witcher 1 takes place immediately after that, when he's recovering from his wounds. So, according to the game canon, he recovers fully from that. The books, I think they've now written another book that takes place after that point as well. Show hasn't gotten there, probably will. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a cliffhanger at the end of the whole series. Did he die? Did he not die? And then it'll be like, oh, I don't know. Okay, we've seen this. Oh, wait, this was foil. I'll put it with my other photos and promos and things. Okay. Stit's Assistant, 3 mana, 3/2 exploit. When Stit's Assistant exploits a creature, scry 1, then draw a card. That seems kind of good, actually. Scry 1, then draw a card? Heck yeah. Zombie? Boring. Lightning Wolf. You throwing Lightning Wolves at people? 4 mana, 4/3. For 2 mana, gains first strike until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. I don't know. Mulch we've seen before. Vampire's Kiss we've seen. Wolf Strike we've seen. Blood Servitor. What the heck are you? 3 mana, 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, create a blood token. And it's a construct. Okay, don't love it. Siphon Essence. A 3 mana instant. Counter target creature or planeswalker spell. Create a blood token. Neat. I like it for standard, I think. Lantern Bearer. We've talked about it. It's okay. Not bad, actually. Screaming Swarm. That is indeed a bird horror. Look at them faces. 6 mana 4/4 flyer. Whenever you attack with one or more creatures, target player mills that many cards. For 3, put Screaming Swarm from your graveyard into your library, second from the top. I don't know. We've got another Vampire style, special style showcase art. Markov Purifier, 3 mana 2/3 with lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. Oh, now that's tempting. Repeatable card draw and life gain on a fairly efficient body. This might make the cut. I don't know. I'm going to set it aside. Also, I got the fancy version of it. Although it could be fancier. It could be foil. Bordered Window, we've talked. It might see play in one of my decks. Jacob Hauken, Inspector. 2 mana, 0/2, legendary creature, Human Advisor. Tap to draw a card, then exile a card from your hand face down. You may look at that card as long as it remains exiled. You may pay 6 mana if you do transform Jacob into Hawkins Insight. Legendary enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library face down. You may look at that card for as long as it remains exiled. Once during each of your turns, you may play a land or cast a spell from among the cards exiled with this permanent without paying its mana cost. This card seems sick. I mean, it's like Jace's Prodigy, except you don't build up to flashback, you build up to, admittedly 6 mana is kind of a lot, but then you start getting free spells out of it. And you continue to put more things into the bank once a turn. Once during each of your turns, you may play a land or cast a spell from among the cards. Yeah, this seems really good. Swamp. Weirdo Zombie. Blank card. Okay, and we are on the last draft booster. I wonder if Jacob is going to be worth something. I hope it is. He's got potential. I think he's probably harder to flip than Jace's Prodigy, so he might not make the cut there. He's probably not going to be, no $100 guy or anything. Wonderlight Spirit, 3 mana 2/3 flyer, can block only creatures with flying. Kind of underwhelming. Estwald Shield Basher, 4 mana 4/2. When it attacks, you may pay 1. If you do, it gains indestructible until end of turn. Seems pretty good in the training deck, actually. Lightning Wolf we talked about. Stitch Assistant's pretty good. Sporeback Wolf. How is Sporeback Wolf not a fungus wolf? I don't know. As long as it's your turn, it gets +0/+2. So it's a bear with upside. Don't like it. We talked about this one. Toxic Scorpion's not bad. Siphon Innocence. Gluttonous Guest. 3 mana 1/4 vampire. Enters the battlefield, create a blood token. When you sacrifice a blood token, you gain a life. Okay. We talked about this one. It's pretty good. Oh, yeah. Cobbled Lancer. Okay, you look at that. Look at that art. That's a centaur. It's a zombie centaur. They're trying to tell me it's a horse. Horse don't got arms. Horse can carry a lance with its hands. Oh wait, does it not have a second hand? With its hand. Also, how many legs does this thing have? This might not have 4 legs. I don't know. Either way, I feel like this should have been a zombie centaur. Anyway, 1 mana 3/3 is big, but as an additional cost to cast this spell, you exile a creature card from your graveyard, so you probably can't do it on turn 1. Good luck doing it on turn 2. You can pay 4 and exile it from your graveyard to draw a card. This might have a role in Standard. This could have a role in some really old format if we're not careful. For all I know, this could be like, oh, wow, it's really good in Legacy in this one deck that... but I kind of doubt it. Really efficient cards with drawbacks. Sometimes old formats have a way around the drawback and then just get them really efficient, but I don't think this is that. Into the Night, 4 mana, sorcery, it becomes night. I so wanted there to be a card like that. Discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards +1. Okay, there are 3 or 4 wheel effects in this set, and this is one of them. It becomes night, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards +1. I don't know what I'll play this in. Probably nothing. But I'm setting it aside anyway. Oak Shade Stalker, 3 mana, 3/3. You may cast this spell as though it had flash. If you pay 2 mana more to cast it. Oh, we did go over this one before. Didn't love it. But Old Rustine. 3 mana, 1/4. Legendary creature, human peasant. I love that peasant is a creature type now that keeps getting supported. When Old Rustine enters the battlefield or at the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. If a land card is milled this way, create a treasure. If a creature card is milled this way, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. If a non-creature, non-land card is milled this way, create a blood token. And I saw the episode of Command Zone where they talked about this guy, and I think I agree with their assessment pretty much that seems okay, but not like terribly exciting because don't see a way of breaking it. It just seems like a fair, decent card. You know, it doesn't have any keyword abilities or anything, so it might just sit back waiting for its effect to happen every turn. And its effect is small. So, I don't know. Seems okay. And we got Plains, Day-Night card, and a blank card. Okay. Well, we have opened a few rares and mythic rares that are pretty neat. We've opened some foils and alternate border cards that are also pretty neat. And I have a stack of cards this big so far that is cards I'm considering actually playing in some of my decks. So I think we're off to a good start for a pre-release kit anyway. And as I teased before, the next video will be opening the Collector's Booster Box, which should have the really sick stuff in it. I'm hoping to get at least 1 or 2 vampires that are like foily, alternate art, and are good enough to see play in my Commander deck. Hoping for the sick stuff here. Okay, with that said, I hope you're all having a good day and have enjoyed our little chat, our little time together here. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.